Hey everyone, welcome back to the Everyday English channel. I'm Mike.
And I'm Rachel. Hey guys.
So today's episode, this is one that comes up in real life more than almost any other situation.
Yeah, because whether you're meeting someone new, starting a new job, joining a class, or even just making small talk, at some point, someone is going to ask you about yourself.
And it sounds simple, but for a lot of English learners, talking about yourself in English is actually one of the hardest things to do naturally.
Right, because it's personal. You know exactly what you want to say, but finding the right words in English, in the moment, under a little pressure, that's where it gets tricky.
So today, we're going to fix that. We're going to show you how to talk about yourself naturally, your background, your life, your personality, your likes and dislikes, in a way that feels real and confident.
And as always, we'll show you in real conversation, not just a list of phrases, real back and forth, the way it actually sounds.
And we'll break it down as we go so you understand not just what to say, but why it works.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning, the most basic version of talking about yourself, a simple introduction. Rachel, go ahead.
Okay, so hi, I'm Rachel. I'm originally from California, but I've been living here for about 2 years now. I work in digital marketing, and outside of work, I'm really into painting and trying new restaurants. I'd say I'm a pretty curious person. I like learning new things and meeting new people.
Really nicely done. Let's break that down.
So that was about 5 sentences, not too long, not too short, and it covered the main bases: name, where I'm from, what I do, what I enjoy, and one thing about my personality.
That last part is what a lot of people skip, saying something about who you are as a person, not just the facts.
Right. Facts tell people what you do. Personality tells people who you are, and who you are is much more interesting.
So when you introduce yourself, try to include one personality word or phrase. Something like, I'm a pretty laid-back person, or I'd say I'm quite creative, or I'm someone who really values family.
It makes you memorable. It gives the other person something real to connect with.
And notice the phrase, I'm really into painting. That's a very natural, casual way to talk about a hobby, much more natural than my hobby is painting.
Right. I'm into, I'm really into, I'm obsessed with. These all sound much more like real spoken English than my hobby is.
Now, Mike, your turn. Give your introduction.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Sure. So I'm Mike. I grew up here, born and raised in this city. I'm an English teacher. I work mostly with adult learners, which I genuinely love. I'm into soccer, reading, and cooking, though I'm better at eating than I am at cooking, honestly. I'd say I'm a pretty sociable person. I like being around people, and I find most conversations interesting if you let them go somewhere.
I love the cooking line. That kind of self-aware humor is so natural in conversation.
Right? A little self-deprecating humor, meaning you make a small joke at your own expense, it makes people like you immediately. It shows you don't take yourself too seriously.
And born and raised, we've used this before. It means you were born somewhere and grew up there. Really common phrase.
And if you let them go somewhere, that little phrase at the end tells you something about Mike's personality without him having to explain it directly. He values depth in conversation. You learn that without him saying, I value depth in conversation.
Show, don't tell. In conversation, the same as in writing. Don't just state a quality, demonstrate it.
Okay, let's go deeper into each area, starting with where you're from, because this always comes up, and there's so much more you can say beyond just naming a place.
Right. I'm from California is fine, but what comes after that is what makes it interesting.
So, Rachel, tell me about where you're from. Really talk about it.
Okay, so I'm from California, a smaller city, not Los Angeles or San Francisco. It's a pretty relaxed place. Good weather basically all year round, which I completely took for granted until I moved here. My family is still there, my parents and my brother. Growing up, it felt like a quiet, safe kind of place. Maybe a little too quiet when I was a teenager. But now, when I go back, I really appreciate it. It feels like home in a way nowhere else quite does. That was beautiful, really natural. Let's break it down. So I didn't just name the place, I described it. Pretty relaxed, good weather. I shared a feeling about it, took for granted. I mentioned my family, which is personal but not too private, and I talked about how my feelings about it changed over time.
That arc, how your feelings about something changed, is one of the most interesting things you can talk about. It shows self-awareness. It shows that you've grown.
And the humor, maybe a little too quiet when I was a teenager. Light, relatable, human.
Key phrases here. Took for granted means you didn't appreciate something until it was gone. And in a way nowhere else quite does, a beautiful phrase meaning that feeling is unique to that place.
Now, Mike, your turn.
So I'm from here. This city is the only place I've ever really lived. And I think growing up somewhere means you have a complicated relationship with it. There are things I love. I know it really well. I have deep roots here. My friendships go back 20 years. But there are also moments when I wonder what it would be like to have started somewhere completely different, built a life from scratch in a new place. I think I'd be a different person. Not better or worse, just different.
That's really thoughtful. And notice, Mike didn't just list facts. He reflected. He was honest about complexity, loving a place, and also wondering about what else could have been.
Real conversation has complexity. You don't have to pretend everything is simple or perfect.
Phrases here. Deep roots means strong, long-standing connections to a place or community. Built a life from scratch means starting with nothing and creating something new.
Both really natural, really expressive phrases. Okay, talking about work. This is almost always one of the first things that comes up when you're talking about yourself.
Right. What do you do is one of the most common questions in any first conversation. So you want to have a natural, interesting answer ready.
And interesting doesn't mean impressive. It means genuine.
Exactly. So let's show it. Mike, talk about your work.
Sure. So I teach English, mostly to adults who are learning it as a second language. I've been doing it for about 6 years, and I genuinely love it, which I think surprises some people because teaching can have a reputation for being a bit thankless. But for me, it's the opposite. Every student is at a different stage, with a completely different story and reason for learning. Some people need English for work, some want to travel, some move to a new country and need it for daily life. And being part of that process, watching someone go from nervous and hesitant to confident and fluent, honestly, it never gets old.
That's a really warm, genuine answer. You didn't just say, I'm a teacher. You talked about why you love it. You gave context. You made it human.
Right. And when you talk about work, always try to include why it matters to you. Not just what you do, but what you feel about it.
Because I work in marketing tells someone your job title. I work in marketing because I love the combination of creativity and strategy tells them something about who you are.
Rachel, your turn.
Okay, so I work in digital marketing, specifically social media and content. I've been in this field for about 4 years, and honestly, I have a complicated relationship with it sometimes. I love the creative side, coming up with ideas, building a campaign from nothing, seeing something land well with an audience. That part is genuinely exciting. But there's also a side of it that can feel relentless, like the work never really stops because social media never stops. So I'm always trying to find that balance, being good at my job without letting it consume my whole life.
I love that answer because it's honest. It's not, I love everything about my job. It's real.
Right, and that honesty is actually more engaging. Nobody believes someone who says their job is perfect, but when you acknowledge the challenge alongside the love, that's believable. That's human.
Key phrases. A complicated relationship with, meaning your feelings about something are mixed, not simple. Land well, meaning something was received well, got a good reaction. Consume my whole life, meaning take over completely.
All very natural, very expressive.
Okay, this is a section a lot of people skip, but it's one of the most important ones. Talking about your personality, who you actually are as a person.
Because facts are easy. I'm 26, I work in marketing, I live in the city. Anyone can say that. But telling someone who you are, that takes a little more thought.
And it's also the thing that makes you memorable. People forget job titles, they don't forget personality.
So Rachel, describe yourself as a person. Not your job, not your hobbies, just who are you?
Okay, that's actually a harder question than it sounds. Let me think. I'd say I'm quite curious. I love learning about things I know nothing about. I'll go down a rabbit hole about something random at midnight and not regret it at all. I'm also quite sensitive. I care a lot about the people around me, and I notice when something is off with someone. That can be a strength, but also it means I take things to heart maybe more than I should. And I think I'm funny, but I'll let other people decide that.
I'll confirm, yes, she's funny. Let's break that down.
So Rachel gave 3 personality qualities: curious, sensitive, funny. But she didn't just list them. She explained each one with a little detail or a little honesty.
Right. I take things to heart maybe more than I should. That's self-awareness. That's admitting a quality isn't purely positive. And that kind of honesty is really attractive in a person.
And the humor at the end. I think I'm funny, but I'll let other people decide that. That's meta-humor. You're being funny while talking about being funny. Really natural and charming.
Mike, your turn.
Okay. I'd say I'm quite calm generally. I don't panic easily. I tend to think things through before I react, which can be good, but sometimes I think people want a quicker reaction from me, and I'm still processing. I'm also quite loyal. Once I'm close to someone, I'm really there for them. And I'd say I'm genuinely interested in people, like not politely interested, actually curious about what's going on in someone's life and how they think about things. I think that's probably why I ended up as a teacher.
Really lovely. And that last line, I think that's probably why I ended up as a teacher, connects his personality to his life choices. That's really natural and really revealing.
Key phrases. Go down a rabbit hole means get deeply absorbed in exploring a topic. Take things to heart means feel things deeply, be emotionally affected. I'm still processing means you're still thinking something through.
All very common in natural English conversation.
Okay, likes and dislikes. This is great small talk territory, and also a really natural way to reveal who you are.
Right, what you love and what you can't stand. Those things say a lot about a person.
Let's do it naturally. I'll go first. Okay, so things I genuinely love: morning walks, specifically early before it gets busy. There's something about a quiet city in the morning that I find really peaceful. I love a really good meal, not necessarily fancy, just done really well. And I love a conversation that goes somewhere unexpected, when you start talking about one thing and end up somewhere completely different and better.
That last one is so you. What about dislikes?
Things I dislike: rushing. I really struggle when I feel like I'm always behind or running late. It makes me anxious in a way nothing else does. I dislike small talk that stays shallow forever, the kind where you've talked to someone 5 times and still know nothing real about them. And olives, firmly and unapologetically.
The olives thing is so consistent. Okay, my turn. Things I love. I love that feeling when you find a new song that completely gets you, like it was written for exactly how you feel right now. I love Sunday mornings, slow, no plans, coffee, and just existing. And I love when a stranger is unexpectedly kind, like when someone holds a door for a long time or gives you a genuine compliment. Those small moments stay with me.
That's really lovely. Dislikes?
I really dislike feeling rushed. Same as Mike, actually. I do my worst work and my worst thinking when I'm under that kind of pressure. I dislike confrontation. I'm working on it, but my instinct is always to avoid it. And I cannot stand a movie that ends badly for no reason. Like, why? We came here to feel good.
The movie thing is so real.
Let's break this section down.
So, talking about likes and dislikes is a wonderful way to reveal personality without it feeling like an interview. It's light, but it's personal.
And notice, we didn't just say, I like music. We were specific. That feeling when you find a new song that completely gets you. The specificity is what makes it interesting.
Vague likes are forgettable. Specific, feeling-based likes are memorable.
Key phrases. Gets you means connects with you deeply, understands you. Just existing means being present without doing anything specific, just enjoying the moment. Firmly and unapologetically, a funny, emphatic way to state an opinion.
And the shared dislike, both of us hate feeling rushed, that created a natural moment of connection. Always a good sign in a conversation. Okay, let's put everything together now. One longer, flowing conversation where we talk about ourselves naturally across multiple topics. No pausing to break it down, just real conversation. Ready?
Ready?
So, Rachel, you moved here 2 years ago. How has that been? Like, genuinely, the whole experience.
Honestly, it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made. But it wasn't easy at first. The first few months were lonely in a way I didn't expect. I had my job and I was keeping busy, but I didn't have my people yet, my friends back home, my family. And I'm someone who really needs those close connections to feel grounded.
How did you get through that?
Slowly. I think I just kept showing up, kept saying yes to things, even when I was tired. A colleague invited me to a Friday evening thing. I almost said no, and that's where I met 2 of my closest friends here. So I think about that a lot, how close I came to saying no.
That's such a good reminder. How often the thing you almost skipped turns out to be the thing that changes something.
Completely. And I think that experience changed me a little. I used to be quite selective about the things I agreed to. Now I say yes more. I'm more open.
That's growth, real growth. Not just learning a skill, actually becoming a slightly different version of yourself.
Yeah, and I think that's what experiences like moving to a new place do. They strip away your comfort zone and show you who you actually are when the familiar things aren't there.
That's beautifully put. I think about that sometimes, about the fact that I've always lived here. I wonder what it would have revealed about me to do something like you did, to just go.
It's not too late.
You're not wrong.
Honestly, though, I think you learn a lot about yourself from staying, too. From building deep roots somewhere, from knowing a place and its people over decades. That's not nothing. That's actually rare.
I hadn't thought about it that way. But yeah, maybe staying is its own kind of commitment.
I think so.
Okay, let's pause there.
So that conversation, we weren't reciting facts about ourselves. We were actually talking, sharing real feelings, real experiences, real reflections.
And that's what talking about yourself at its best really looks like. Not a CV, not a list of facts, a real exchange where both people are present and honest.
Key phrases from that section. Feel grounded means feel stable, secure, connected. Kept showing up means kept making the effort consistently. Strip away your comfort zone means remove the familiar things that make you feel safe.
And that's not nothing, a really natural English phrase meaning that thing has real value and shouldn't be dismissed.
These are the phrases that make your English sound truly natural, not advanced, natural. There's a difference.
All right, let's bring it all together.
So today, we covered 6 key areas of talking about yourself in English. Your basic introduction, where you're from, your work, your personality, your likes and dislikes, and putting it all together in real, flowing conversation.
And through all of it, a few things made the difference between a forgettable answer and a memorable one.
First, add feeling to your facts. Don't just say what, say how it feels. Not just, I'm from California, but what California means to you.
Second, be specific. Specific details are interesting. Vague answers are forgettable. I love music tells nobody anything. I love that feeling when a song completely understands how you feel. That's something.
Third, show personality. Use a little self-aware humor. Be honest about the complicated parts. Let people see who you actually are.
Fourth, share the arc. How you changed, how your feelings evolved, what an experience taught you. People connect with growth.
And fifth, give the conversation back. Talk about yourself and then ask about them. The best conversations are ones where both people feel seen and heard.
Your challenge today, write 5 sentences about yourself in English. Cover your background, your work or study, 1 hobby, 1 personality quality, and 1 thing you love. Say them out loud. Practice them until they feel natural.
Then, the next time someone asks you about yourself, you're ready. Not perfect, ready.
And ready is all you need.
You've got this. We genuinely mean that.
All right, everyone, that's it for today's episode.
Thank you so much for watching. We really hope this helped you feel more confident talking about yourself in English.
If it did, please hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more learners just like you.
And leave a comment below. Tell us one thing about yourself in English. We want to hear from you. We read every single comment.
New episodes every week. Make sure you're subscribed so you never miss one.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep sharing, and keep growing.
See you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.